Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and a little bit stormy outside today.
It is. I got a little wet coming in this morning. It was very thundery and lots of lightning.
Lots of lightning. Yeah, it was Abby and I got to the building about the same time, and she went in and I went in, but you took the long way around, didn't you, Abby? I was like, I've been going in the front door lately. I like going there instead of walking around the other side. But yeah, it's I don't like lightning.
Yeah, and
I don't care for it. It's that time of year, but
I admire lightning from a distance. I feel really bad for whoever got struck this morning, because the lightning that I was seeing had to be hitting something somewhere, and whoever it was really getting hammered with a lot of lightning in the same spot over and over. Yeah, and so that I don't like.
Kind of looked like it was like over in that Trago Lake area whenever I was coming in.
Oh, did it? Okay,
right around that area.
Well, by the time I got here, the lightning looked more like Horde Bible Grove area.
Oh, so it moving fast. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was straight. I'm like, oh boy, it looks like anybody over in the Lost 40s or Trago Lake was getting a little bit of. I've never really had lightning. We've had it hit close, but I can't even imagine what the sound of that is.
Yeah, I don't. I've seen it hit really close, and that was loud enough. Like it just shook the house, you know. Yeah. But you hear reports of people getting lightning in their house, like through their light fixtures and stuff. That
How
scares
weird is
me.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you believe in the old the things like if it's lightning, you shouldn't take a shower?
Of course, I believe it. My mom told me that, and she would never lie. But I will say, though, that, like, I've always told my kids that, too. Like, just I don't know if it's true or not, but, like, hurry up for the sake of it. Go ahead and get your shower over with before it storms.
Yeah.
But there's been other times where I've kind of broken the rule myself. Yeah. And it's like, it's going to storm all night. At some point, I have to take a shower, so let's just do it.
Yeah. And then
I've survived.
Yeah. It is kind of an interesting thought, but it's spring, so that's what we do. April showers.
There's lots of those old little stories about taking a shower when it's storming. You're not supposed to do that. Did your mom and dad ever tell you, like, don't turn the dome light on while you're driving because it's illegal?
I do remember that.
Yeah,
I don't do it because it drives me nuts.
Yeah, I don't do it, but
it blurs your outside.
Yeah,
you see.
But the new cars are a little smarter about their light placement. Like,
you can't just reach your hand up.
Well, I mean, okay, so my Yukon that I did have, like when the kids were younger, there was like little reading lights above them that they could turn on, and it wasn't very bright, and it just kind of shone into their lap. Those I was okay with. Yeah, not all the time, but if they needed them.
That dome light, but it should just illuminate the whole inside of the car.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Yeah, no, I don't like that either. Especially if I'm driving, I don't like it. But I'm that person though that when I'm driving through a city, turns the radio down.
Oh yeah, like I need to, like shh, radio. I'm focused here. Like
no, I do it.
There's a meme about that. I think it's like Luke Bryan.
I don't know. I do it every time.
It's like shh, Luke Bryan. I'm lost. I don't. Shh.
It's like you need mental clarity, and you don't want anything else happening.
No background.
You don't want any background noise. But I do the same thing. My dad used to do. Isn't it funny some of the things we pick up?
It must be something to do with your brain. Like your brain needs quiet to really think.
Oh yeah, it does.
Things through. Yeah. I don't know.
Sometimes my needs to just shut down for just a few minutes so I can have a moment of peace.
Yeah.
Because what was we talking about? Okay, so there's this thing on Facebook, and like Microsoft has built this room that's completely soundproof. You can't hear nothing. They say it's so quiet in there that you can hear your own heartbeat. And if you can stay in there for 1 hour, you'll get $1 million. And like a lot of times, like once people nobody's done it yet. Because it's just beyond, I don't even understand it. I'm thinking they've got to have some sort of psychobabble thing going on in there. Because like one person, like I couldn't be in there for more than a minute. And then one person, like I made it 5 minutes. I was like going nuts because it's just so, there's no.
I don't think it sounds that hard. Like what? I'm gonna have to research this because maybe I'm a candidate for it. But like to me, it sounds peaceful.
It sounds nice.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the rules are like you can't talk to yourself or if you know.
Well, there's an entire monologue in my head at all times. So that's good.
The band's playing, never takes a break. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, me too. That's what I'm thinking. I could probably do that. Yeah, for $1 million.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look into that. We might.
Yeah, I'm
we
gonna
might
go
be
look
the,
into that
We might be the
because-
perfect candidates right here.
Yeah, they're like, it's so quiet. Of course, like I said, they got to have some sort of heebie-jeebie weird.
And why did they do that? Like, what was the point?
I don't know, because it cost them like $5 million, but it's Microsoft.
And they just
They're
were like
billion
dying
do-
to give away $1 million. I don't think so. It's got to be some kind
There's
of
got
deeper
to be some
reason.
sort of weird.
Yeah. How fast can we drive humanity crazy with silence
Mm-hmm.
project? I don't know. Why would you create something like that? I don't know.
I don't know, but it was on. Like I said, that Jim saw. We saw something, of course, like was going on Facebook and stuff. But yeah, I was like, so it's quiet. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Now I would probably lose if you had to, but it didn't. I don't think Jim said anything. I didn't read the article, but he said it. I said I could just sit there and talk to myself. Mm-hmm. I carry on full conversation with the different personalities I have. Mm-hmm. So I could just go in there and just sing to myself or whatever. Might be the best acoustics ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to tell you can't make noise. Otherwise,
yeah, because it doesn't make sense.
it just have to sit in silence.
I was like, well, so go to sleep for an hour.
Absolutely.
I'd fall asleep.
I don't think I'd fall asleep. I need a fan.
Oh,
I don't think I could fall asleep, but I could sit there in silence and just
I think I could. I think we should try it. Let's look it up
Okay,
and see.
looking it
It's
up.
$1 million, man.
Heck yeah, if you did it and I did it, we'd have $2 million.
We'd have $2 million. Yeah, I said something stupid last night. I was tired last night. I had Joanna, and then I went and got Jack after school, and we ran and we went and got some more flowers, and we're just piddling. And the grandchildren are so much fun, but it's exhausting. Mm-hmm. So by the time the night was over, I was done. I was tired. I said, well, I don't see what the big deal is. I just count to 60 100 times. And I'm like, and Jim was like, what would you do? I said, and I was like, I count to 60 times.
I started to say,
but
what?
I was just like, I don't know. We just was like, one.
Well, you could count faster
two.
and do it 100 times.
Yeah, I was just like, I'll just count to 60 100 times. And he was like, and after I said it, I'm like, as soon as it came out, I'm like, I don't think that's right. But my brain could not concentrate long enough to go, okay, break it down.
Yeah, how many times have I said it now?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. But it'd be interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm not sure where we'd have to fly to, but I'm sure wherever we're going has antique stores.
Yeah, and a quilt shop. And a quilt shop.
I'm sure there does, wherever that's at.
Hey, I just got back from Paducah from the big quilt show.
How'd that go?
It was fantastic. It was so super fun, and I saw a lot of beautiful quilts, and I met a lot of people for work that I needed to talk to, and I just, I don't know, like looked at a lot of fabric. It was really fun.
Anything new and interesting in the fabric world?
Gosh,
The
there's
quilting world?
always like new and exciting fabric lines coming out, but I mean, I can't really describe any of them, but there was a lot of pretty stuff. I'll put it that there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Big crowd?
Actually, no. I was kind of surprised. I was there on Friday, and I feel like the big crowds are usually like the show starts on Wednesday, it ends on Saturday. So I was kind of towards the end of the show. Mm-hmm. I feel like the biggest crowd is usually on Wednesday.
Really? That's weird.
Wednesday, because of the way the classes are set up, there's a lot of classes that start on Monday before the show opens. People come in for the classes that are all day long, like throughout the week. And I feel like there's still a lot of classes on Wednesday, and I think there's some on Thursday, but by Friday the classes are wrapped up. So the people that are there like to attend classes, they've already left. They've already went home.
Huh. How interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. But no, it was good.
Good
It was a good
times?
show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good.
I don't know if there's really anything else going on right now, except weather changes, school's wrapping up, but we go a little bit later than normal this year.
I know.
When do they go?
They get out like August, feels like.
Yeah.
It's actually,
You get out one day and then you come back the next.
I think it's like the 28th or something like that.
It's late.
I think that
Because what would have been normal? Because you're making up how many days? Are you making up a full week, 5 days?
I don't know. I lost count. I don't even know. But
Because after a certain, like if we have a bad winter, like you have to make up 5 days, but if there's like anything after that, that's just a wash and done. You don't have to make all that up.
yeah, I don't know how all that turned out. I just know they're going to the end of May, and I think that Oil Belt, our Christian service camp in Flora, it starts like their summer schedule starts like the 24th, 25th, somewhere around that, maybe the 26th. And school doesn't even get out until like the 28th.
Wow.
So I'm not
assuming
sure.
that's surrounding.
I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna pan out either. But I hate it when it goes this long. Like my kids are burnt out, ready to end, and just.
When I was younger,
Done.
We went all the way to the end of May, but we had June off, all of July, all of August. We started school after Labor Day.
Yeah,
the Monday after the day after Labor Day is when we started.
Us too, but
and then it kind of, I don't know when it got like, oh, now we're getting out in May, and now we're starting the second week. I mean, I know
it's kind of changed over the years because like when I was in school at Harrisburg, like a lot of years, our last day of school was somewhere around June 7th. Like we went, we usually like a week past Memorial Day or maybe even 2 weeks if we'd had a lot of snow days. And then, but you didn't go back until like September.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you did start in August, it was like the 30th or something.
I think a lot of that had to do with us not, but even September's hot too. But because most schools didn't have air conditioning. I mean, I went to school without air conditioning for years, but yeah, I always wondered what that period of. I remember all of June, July, and August. I do remember a couple years, and back when I was younger, you made up every snow day.
Oh,
if you had 2 weeks of snow, then you made them all up.
Oh, okay.
But we also didn't have we didn't take off every holiday either, President's Day. None of that stuff.
We did. We had a lot of holidays.
I don't remember.
We had Kashmir Pulaski Day. We had Deer Day. We had them all when I was growing up. But we did go to school a little longer, but then we didn't start in the fall until later. So I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody's up there making the decisions.
And we even had a full week at Easter too, when I was growing up.
I remember having a full week at Easter, a full spring break.
Yeah.
I don't know. Times change. Things change. People change.
Everything changes.
Everything changes.
Nothing stays the same.
Nothing stays the same.
In the wise words of Patty Loveless, life's about changing. Nothing ever stays the same.
I thought there was a country song in there somewhere. Okay, so I picked out an ad, basically for the prettiness of it. I came across a Watkins emulsified coconut oil shampoo. Isn't that the prettiest ad?
That is so pretty. And Watkins products are still around today.
Yeah.
A lot of them still do that yellow label. She's beautiful.
Yeah, emulsified coconut oil. It's the print's really... Proper shampooing is what makes... I don't know, it's blurry.
Her hair the best.
Her hair the best. I can't read it.
Look the best. I do think if she has naturally curly hair, that coconut oil probably was good for it.
Yeah. But you can't use straight. It's got, like I said, it's got the emulsified in there. You can't. One lady came to me, and she was, because coconut oil was the rage for everything, right? Cure everything. And man, her hair was brittle and it was dry and horrible. And I was like, what have you been doing? She's like, well, I've been conditioning it with coconut oil. I said, straight coconut oil? She said, yeah. I said, well, it takes an oil to break an oil. So you've literally just broke down every ounce of oil in your hair. About destroyed her hair.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's got to be. It has to have other buffers in it. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty ad. But yeah, her hair was beautiful.
Yeah.
What a pretty, pretty, pretty lady.
Very pretty.
She's real.
If she's real. Or if she is only an illustration, then somebody did a really good job.
They did a really good job because that hair is awesome. All righty. So we're going to come back. I got a couple different stories here we're going to talk about today. And we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and I'm going to talk. I've come across a Piecing Together the Past by Rena Lentz Thomas, and I came across the Herbert Tonney, a Florida businessman, and the Hay Meadow Massacre. Now, when I mentioned this to you, you said that you think this was covered on a cemetery tour. Is that correct?
Yes, the Hay Meadow Massacre.
They're down balanced. Sorry, my OCD's kicking in. Perfect.
Okay, and there we go. Now, I don't know what research you did on this, so I'll let you tell the story, and then I'll pipe in. But this sounds like the same story, and this was the one, it was like on the far south of the cemetery, and Malia was in it. She was in a bed. She was tucked in bed.
I think I remember that.
Under a purple quilt. And I was just, my part was like, I was a mom and I was telling her a bedtime story about her like great uncles or something.
Oh, okay.
And their involvement in this.
So are they buried out there?
There is a connection. I can't remember which one.
There's a Flora connection.
You get going
I'll read it.
and then I'll look it up.
And then you pop in.
Yep.
Because I love it when the cemetery.
Because Stacey and I, so she researched this one. I didn't research it. She just told me late last night which one she was doing. I was like, I think I know a little bit about that one. So
yeah, which always makes it nice when we are doing stuff together. Okay. So, a little more on Herbert Tonney. See, because the name Tony, Tonney.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's not a name that I associate with.
I think in the cemetery tour, we might have said Tawny.
Tawny?
I don't know, though.
You can't remember?
No, I don't know. It's been too many years. Too many years, too many skits ago. I mean, after a while, they kind of all blend together.
Yeah, I'm kind of like losing track of the ones I've done. Because then it's like, and then I forget,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've played a crazy mom in the past in the Shadows of Elmwood. And then I played a nice mom. And then I've played like all these different roles. And then at the end, it's kind of like, well, I was one person and I did like 20 different things. I was me, and then I was nice, and I was this and that. And
I'm either a killer or I've been killed.
Yeah. They kind of typecast you. Talk about crazy. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I get totally typecast.
All right.
Time.
Keep going.
I love it. Okay, let's see what Rena says here. It's not unusual for some of my readers who read my stories to be compelled to check them out, whether for more facts or just to see how accurate they are. This story is about Herbert, I'm going to say Tonney.
Okay.
Escaping death in the Wild West.
Yep.
Turns out to be just a small portion of a larger story. Mm-hmm. This was brought to Rena's attention by Harley Bonham, and she found it interesting that she wanted to look for some more facts herself.
Okay.
A Florida man, Herbert Tonney, age 18, decided to explore other lands and traveled to the Wild West state of Kansas in 1888. So we're going way, way, way back.
Mm-hmm.
He was seeking adventure, and adventure he found. He arrived in the middle of the worst county seat war ever to take place. Okay, let's just stop right there. So even in 1888, politicians were nuts. In 1888, there was a war, because I feel like we're headed that way in certain states in this country. But yeah, it's kind of like a county seat war. And that's just on a small level, the county seat. Emerson Huff wrote about the incidents around 1907 and actually got many of his facts from an interview with Tonney himself. The war was between the newly formed towns of Woodsdale and Hugoton, which were both vying for county seat designation of the Stevens County, Kansas. Mm-hmm. It was believed that whichever town was chosen as the county seat of Stevens County would eventually become the commercial metropolis of the west. Each town and its backers had much to gain both financially and in community esteem. So are we on this? Is it coming? Is it all coming back to you?
Yep.
It's all coming back to you now. Several men had made large investments in their town by purchasing land and building businesses in preparation for the influx of people they thought were sure to come with their being named the county seat. Because we've even got there's even times that Beth and I have even talked about, because the county seat here was not always in Louisville. It was in Maysville, just south of Clay City, and then moved it. I mean, even back then, with our county seat and stuff, there was a little bit of, ticky-tacky things. What are you finding?
Oh, I've got some pictures of him.
Oh!
So I just sent those over to you, Ty. So you keep talking.
Okay. Nice pictures. Hugoton was a section of school lands in what was later known as Stevens County, as near to the center of the proposed county as the range of sand dunes along the, Cimarron River would permit. Leading the cause for Hugoton was Colonel C.E. Cook and his brother Orrin Cook, and others including J.B. Chamberlain and J.W. Calvert. The other town wishing to become county seat was located on the north side of the Sand Hills, 8 miles from its rival, Hugoton. So basically like Clay City and Flora.
Yes.
Miles between Clay City and Flora. This new town was named Woodsdale for Colonel S.N. Wood, its founder, so to speak. Naturally, there was trouble brewing, as there could only be one county seat, and those times were much more lawless than anything we see today. Yeah, because you're talking the shoot 'em up.
Yeah, it
bang,
was the
bang.
OK Corral.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was what made our skit so cute. We had the gun, like fake guns out there, and we had a real
I just had to laugh.
scene
It was
set
like
up.
the OK Corral, which made it really cute.
Well, you know what I meant. It made it exciting. Maybe not cute, but it was an exciting
It was.
skit.
Oh yeah. I wish I would have. I don't really hear many of the skits, but I got to stop because one time. Do you remember the skit where Jim was the first he shot the sheriff, the first man to shoot a sheriff in town, right there on the corner where Huck's is at in Flora, and Jim caught himself on fire out there.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, he used some sort of cap gun or
something. It had some blanks in it.
And it had some blanks in it and caught his
caused pants on fire. The universe was like, Jim, you are a liar. This is not really you. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Oh, gosh. Okay, it says, the Wild West was really living up to its name. Colonel Wood, the leader of the community of Woodsdale, had slated John M. Cross as his candidate for sheriff, whereas a rival for the nomination was Sam Robinson, who owned the hotel at Woodsdale. Robinson would later defect to the other side when Cross was declared sheriff. Okay.
So you have both these two guys running for sheriff.
Sounds like Cactus Pass to me.
Yes, yeah, that was our play that we did at Nostalgia Cactus Pass. And yeah, so two people running for sheriff. There's kind of a split in the town of like one side against the other.
Absolutely. Robinson, about 40 years old, had a bad reputation for being ruthless and was rumored to have been responsible for killing 2 or 3 men elsewhere.
Bad cop.
Bad cop. Many of his dealings were either illegal or underhanded.
I'm quite sure he rode a black horse.
I'm pretty sure
While the other guy, he was on the white horse.
I'm almost positive.
Okay.
That's probably how that's happening, yeah. Oh, gosh. Crazy. Where was I? When he got into trouble, a warrant was issued for his arrest by Ed Short. Town marshal of Woodsdale was hired to bring Robinson in. He in turn summoned Sheriff John Cross to do the work. So you got one bad sheriff, a good sheriff, the county marshal. I can only imagine what this was like to be walking around there.
Yeah, little tense.
Little tense. It was at this time that our Flora man, Herbert Tonney, transplanted in Kansas, becoming part of this drama, although not necessarily a willing participant.
Okay, so Herbert Tonney moved west. He was looking to do more things. I don't know, everyone moved west at that time. He was originally from Flora. His mother was a Durland, one of the founding families in Flora, big family. They had a business here, but he probably had a little bit of money. I think the Durlands had a little bit of money.
I think the Durlands did have money.
I don't know that his particular ones did, but anyway.
The title's literally like businessman.
Yeah, so
he's 18.
Yeah, so he's an 18-year-old man, decides to go west.
Yeah.
Ends up in this little town in Kansas that is full of drama.
Full of drama. Ty, did you pull up any pictures yet?
Yeah.
Let's just see who we're talking about here. Oh.
Okay, so I believe he's the one on the right. The picture didn't specify which one he was, but I don't know.
Where'd you find the pictures at?
This was on Find a Grave.
Oh, okay. So was there a story on Find a Grave too?
No. Mm-mm.
Let's see. What else do we got?
This is
There's
his grave.
the stone.
This is where he's buried. He is buried at Elmwood in Flora.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert Tonney.
69, so 31. Oh, not very old.
No, what? 30,
39.
39.
39 years old is when he does all. Wow.
That's why I think he was the one on the right, because the other guy
I
looked
think
older
so.
than 39.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go back to the picture, Ty. Yeah, he's definitely the one on the right. Because if that guy's 39 years old, he lived a rough life.
Well, they did age quicker back then.
They did age quicker.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's see. And there's the third picture, too. We can wait on that one.
Yeah, let's come back to that one.
He's going to get hurt, and we're going to talk about his wounds.
We're gonna take a commercial break, and then we're gonna come back and finish this story on Herbert Tonney or whatever you want to call him.
Tonney. We'll be back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank. We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be. Clay County State Bank.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County, Farmers Mutual Insurance.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and we're talking about Mr. Tonney, a young man who went off at 18 years old to Kansas, gets mixed up in this controversial Wild West story of county seats, and he's fixing to get into the crosshairs.
Yes, he is.
Okay. Sheriff Cross called for volunteers for a, what is it, P-O-S-S-E?
Posse.
Posse. That's posse.
Mm-hmm.
Posse to bring Robinson to justice. It was made up of Sheriff Cross, Ted Eaton, Bob Hubbard, Holland Wilcox, and our subject, Herbert Tonney, who was now 19 years old at the time.
So he's 19 and he's in a posse going after this bad cop, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do at 19.
Mm-hmm. 19-year-old boys, though, are fearless, reckless.
Yeah, that's
he was
true.
probably like, yeah, buddy, let's go get him. I'm going to whoop him.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to whoop him.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to whoop him, yeah. Tony's account of the infamous Hay Meadow Massacre follows. Unable to find Robinson, they started home until night closed in. The posse of men chose a neutral strip known as Hay Meadows to spend the night. In a short while, they were surrounded by another posse of men headed by Robinson himself.
Uh-oh.
Not good.
I believe this might have been reenacted in the cemetery. The two posses.
Approximately 15 of Robinson's men shot and killed Sheriff Cross and all of his men except one who was shot and left for dead.
It was a massacre.
A massacre.
A real
So the bad
true
guys
massacre.
came in and just slaughtered the good guys.
It wasn't like I'm going to shoot at you or I'm going to scare you away or we're going to have words or I'm just after one person. No, they shot the entire posse.
Yeah.
Dead, except for one. And you can probably guess
Which one it
which
was.
one survived.
Except one who was shot and left for dead. This was the young man from Flora, Illinois, Herbert Tonney, who pretended to be dead and was left with the other corpses. Bravo. That's what I would have done.
Bravo.
I'd have done the same thing.
Play dead.
Yeah, play dead. Play dead. After a short while, when the bad men had left, he managed to get to his horse and ride for help.
His white horse.
Yes.
I'm quite sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
Bad
is.
guys on black horses, good guys on
That's
white
right.
horses.
What was the outcome of the lawlessness? Each side continued for a while to commit crimes against each other, including murder. Sham trials were held with no one ever being brought to justice.
Oh my.
Gosh, it's just politics. It's just politics.
Mm-hmm.
As for what became of the two towns of Woodsdale and Hugoton, their population dropped from approximately 4,000 people to a mere 100 by 1889.
That's what happens when you shoot everybody
That's
in town.
right.
And scare the rest of the people that are still there
Yeah.
into leaving.
Yeah, and
Goodbye
both
town.
And they're abandoned.
Yeah.
The towns are abandoned.
The cemetery tours there are really good, though. Probably.
Oh, I can imagine.
Allegedly.
I would think they would be.
If they even have them.
Herbert Tonney would eventually return to Flora, as stated, and became a very prosperous and respected businessman here.
Mm-hmm.
He'd had enough excitement to last him for some time to come. It is difficult to believe that all of this happened because of a want for their town to come the county seat. But in those times, it was an important aspect for survival and growth of new towns. Yeah, that's a cool story.
Yeah, it is. Let's go to that last picture, Ty, and we'll talk about that for a moment. Yeah, so this is a graph showing where he was shot. It's this whole area. It was called Kansas, but it's now actually part of Oklahoma in the Panhandle. At that time, it was still part of Kansas. Let's see.
And what's the date on it? July 25th? Is that July?
Yeah, July
It's
25th,
either-
1888.
Yeah.
So the bullet entrance room was on Tawny's left front side. It was made by a 45 to 70 caliber 500 grain slug. It opened when his left arm was raised and closed when it was lowered. That kept him from bleeding to death while he rode to Voorhees.
Oh, wow.
When a doctor treated him, he found that the wound contained small particles of his clothing. So how lucky that it hit just right where if he kept his arm down, he didn't bleed out.
Yeah, because it looks like he was shot on the 25th of July, but didn't see the doctor till the afternoon, the next day.
Wow.
And it makes
Okay.
you wonder how horrible would it be to be on a horse with bullets? What's the other one up on top? That's an exit
That's
wound?
the exit wound. So it went in his front shoulder area, kind of by his clavicle, and then it blew out his back.
Wow.
And then it had bits of clothing inside of it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, then he had another wound. It says Emma Carr treated Tony's wounds after he reached Voorhees. She testified that a large bruise was on his side opposite the wound, which Tony exhibited in court, which was Tony's right side. It was caused by one of the Hugoton men kicking him to make sure he was dead before he and his comrades left. So yeah, they kicked him super hard in the side. So he had to be a really good actor to play dead through a kick like that. I mean, the kick alone could have burst his spleen or something like that. Later, Dr. Robert F. Fumas arrived and then examined and treated Tony. He testified that he found a fresh bruise on the right side. It was about the size of a man's palm. So yeah, they shot him, kicked him, made sure he was dead. They thought he wasn't. There ended up being a trial, and the doctors had to testify, and Tony himself went on the stand and showed off his bruises. Did that stop anything? Did that stop the other posse? No, it really didn't. There was trials, but there was never really a decision on anything, and they pretty much got off scot-free.
Yeah, I mean, nothing. And they
to kill that many men. And can you imagine the families of the dead men and like their, sorrow and anger about the whole thing? And it's like these men can just come in and kill my dad or my husband or whoever, and nothing is done.
No, because they were powerful.
Sad. It's really a sad story. But I'm glad that Herbert Tonney left the Wild West and came back to Flora. He had a successful business here. I'm not real sure which business was his, but he was a businessman here.
Yeah. I don't know what he would have done. Yeah, because that would have been. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't. I don't really come across that.
It didn't say what I read either.
He came back and worked for his mother's family.
Yeah.
The Derlin family, because like I said, the Tonney. I mean, I've never heard that name before.
Yeah, but there was a bunch of them. Let me.
Was there a bunch of Tonys? Is there a lot buried out at Elmwood?
Let's see. So Herbert, he married a woman named Emma Laureen Evans Tonney. They got married in 1901. So what year did he come back, do you think? This was in the 1880s?
This was 80, yeah.
So 1901, he was in his late 20s by the time he got married. And then I don't have any children listed for him, so he may not have went on to have, carry the line through, but he had 4 brothers, Victor, Ferdinand, Rutherford, and George Tonney. And they are all buried in Elmwood too. Let me see if any of them had children. So far, no.
Really?
I wonder if their family had some type of reproduction issue or something
that's unusual for.
Yeah, or if maybe, this one brother, he's buried in L.A., but also it doesn't show any wives for any of these brothers. Herbert looks to be like the only one who might have gotten married, or. I mean, this isn't always foolproof, so this information may just not have been added yet if no one has researched them that much. But like his one brother, George, the youngest brother, he didn't pass away until 1954.
Wow.
So, I mean, not that that's like super recent, but also like that doesn't seem as far in the past as like a story when you're talking about like 1888.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there were Tonys here. They just didn't have any descendants that I know of. So
very interesting.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to find out.
You never know.
You never know. This is another story. Now, this is about a train wreck, a passenger train. It's got some names that we'll recognize. When I read this story that Rena did, the piecing together the past. But it's just it was just an interesting story. I have so many hometown journals. I got to stack up. I just go through them and that would be cute. That'd be, a fun story. Mm-hmm. That'd be interesting. Not everything's always fun and cute because, like I said, there's tragedy involved. Mm-hmm. But that's the past for you. Let's see here. Where do I want to start? Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and read the start of it. And this is Rena's words. It was the start of the 70s. My husband and I had 2 sons, one in kindergarten and the other in 2nd grade. I had always said I didn't intend to go to work outside the home until my children were in school full time. So I was just biding my time, keeping busy with being a housewife and mother, as well as doing volunteer work with the Clay County chapter of the American Red Cross, with whom she served as a recruit chairman. Like most everyone else, I had heard the rumors of Flora getting their own radio station, but that never gave a second thought to being involved with it or working there. Well, one day in late April, quite out of the blue, I received a phone call asking if I would be interested in a position with the new station. It was the station manager, Ron Lane, calling, and it seemed I had been recommended to him by Priscilla Henson.
Ah.
Oh, man, I miss Priscilla Henson.
Me too. She was.
We need to do a story just on Priscilla.
Oh, we ought to. That'd be fun.
Because all the stuff she did, and think about all the pictures we've got from Depot shows.
Oh, yeah.
That's so fun. She was a great person. And she had worked with Priscilla whenever they both worked for the Red Cross. They needed someone to cover the news angle. She said she was flattered but scared to death of such an important assignment for which she felt very inadequate, but was assured she would learn as she went along. Most of us, if not all, were inexperienced at this type of work, but the owners wanted it to be a hometown-oriented station with local people leading the way. Of course, we're talking about WNOI,
Right.
which has been around since the 70s and has always been people.
Local people.
Local people, yeah. Much has changed from the early days of WNOI. We were eager to learn and very dedicated to the task of airing the best we could in all aspects: music, news, ads, and programming. Owner Mike Freeland had surveyed Clay County and the surrounding areas as to what type of music they preferred, and we became WNOI Big Country. How many changes have they? There's been a few changes.
There's been some changes.
The Federal Communications Corporation regulated the number of minutes for commercials one could have in a designated time block. Seems like it was 2 to 2.5 minutes in a 15-minute time slot. This is the case no more. The regulation has changed. And on that, we're going to take a commercial break.
Okay.
And we're going to come back and finish this story because she goes on. She's a reporter, and she actually goes on and talks about the train wreck that she actually had to.
Oh,
So
okay.
you got Rena here that's working at WNOI that's like a reporter now, and now she's going to go
Cover this train wreck.
Cover the train.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Give me all your lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine. I'm talking about Rena Lyns Thomas, who when she first started working for WNOI was like a reporter. She really didn't have any qualifications apparently to do it. And one of the very first stories she covers is a train wreck where people died. So she's a little bit out of her element here.
Uh-huh.
She says she set her schedule up to attend all the area town council and school board meetings, as well as any other function she could work in. In those days, we believed in as many actualities.
Actualities. There we go.
I'm like,
What?
Actualities. You know how there's some word that's in your head right, but you can't get it out?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Why does that happen to me constantly? And taped interviews with the subjects of importance as we could get. She armed herself with trusty, most of the time, tape recorder and went to work. Upon entering the council chambers for my first Flora City Council meeting, I was greeted point blank by one of the council members with the either that tape recorder goes or you do. Wow.
Isn't there, I think there's a state law that you're not allowed to record any type of board meeting, or
Really?
it has to be declared or something in the minutes. There's something like that, because wasn't there a court case or something, and somebody recorded and it was against the rules and they didn't tell people they were recording, and
How
I don't know. Ty
interesting.
Googled that real quick
Yeah.
for me. Like, just is it
illegal?
Is it illegal to record a board meeting? Like, just a general search on that, and let's see what happens. There's, I think, something to that. So anyway, go ahead with your story.
She said, so she soon learned to rely on handwritten notes. She was just afraid that she would miss some pertinent part of the meeting, or a misquote.
Yeah, I
She
can
didn't
understand
wanna-
that.
I can see that too, because
As
we
a
all
writer,
hear,
you want to get their quote. If you're going to quote them, you want it exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The late mayor, Don Butte, called the station one day in early June of that year to give me a tip for my first big news story. He stated that there had been a serious train derailment in the Tonti area north of Salem, Illinois. Well, silly me, I thought freight train, but no. It was the crack city of the New Orleans Amtrak train carrying over 200 passengers and crew on its journey from Chicago to New Orleans.
Yeah, I've been on that train.
Woo!
I mean, obviously not the exact same one, but the city of New Orleans
Yeah,
or whatever.
the city of New Orleans, yeah.
Uh-huh. Goes back and forth each day.
Well, that's like Jim's family, they, like the early wine, all of his dad and aunt and uncles and stuff, they all lived in Chicago at one time and traveled, and two of his uncles were like the conductors on that, and they traveled that Chicago, New Orleans train all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They were conductors on it. I soon found out the seriousness of the situation. No one, not even the press, was being allowed near the accident scene. So I went to the local hospital for my story. I wasn't prepared for what I found. 11 persons had perished in that wreck, and over 100 more received injuries. And the hospital was in a state of organized chaos.
Oh, my. What did you find out, Ty?
Yeah, generally you have to state that it's being recorded.
Yeah, generally you have to state that it's being recorded if you're at any type of board meeting.
Okay, interesting.
But there's a rule about that. Okay. So she's at the Salem Hospital.
Yeah, she's at the Salem Hospital, and this is her first big story. And it must have been pretty bad if they weren't even letting the press come in to the train site.
Yeah.
Gosh. Quickly getting my story as unobtrusively as possible, I headed to the nearest telephone to call it in. As it happened, there was a nearby private residence where the people were kind enough to let me use their phone. Car phones and cellulars were not common in the 70s. 11 of the 14 cars plus 4 diesel engines had left the tracks, bringing their 90-mile-per-hour trip to a grinding halt, literally.
Wonder what caused it.
Illinois Central officials blamed the pileup on the locking of a wheel on the front engine, causing it to slide and flatten, and perhaps accumulate misshapen metal which struck a switch at the crossing.
Yeah, misshapen metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cars overturned and piled up with 2 engines catching fire. And the force of the wreck pushed broken rails through several of the cars. Ooh, man. 11 men, women, and children, as well as the train's conductor, C.R. Fletcher, died in the wreckage. There were several memorable news stories during her 3.5 years with WNY. She's going to go in. Yeah, so that the conductor died, and 11 men and women and children, and 100 were injured.
Wow.
That's terrifying.
That is terrifying. And I'm not sure that would have been something I would have wanted to cover.
For your very first story?
Yeah, for your very first one.
Yeah. She worked 3.5 years at WNY. This is kind of, she said there were some controversial stories, such as the location of the new landfill off of Blue Mound Road. I remember the landfill for years. You know, right there where they built that voting booth where you can vote down on Blue Mound. If you turn right there, just right behind that whole area was landfill.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember taking stuff there as a kid. Some residents in the area were much opposed to it, and that subject filled several council meetings. Some stories were sad, such as the apparent homeless man found dead at Charlie Brown Park. Did we ever cover that?
Mm-mm.
Might want to write that one down. He was discovered by Undertaker Joe Cardascio that the gentleman had considerable amount of money sewn into the lining of his jacket. Then there were the delightful stories, such as interviewing the members of the Wandering Wills bicycle troupe as they came through Flora on their trek across the United States. These were always interesting and uplifting. 30 years have passed since that time WNI first went on the air. A very challenging time, which afforded me an opportunity to delve into city functions, as well as meet many interesting people in various walks of life. Isn't that something?
Yes.
So we need to look into the Charlie Brown Park.
Yes.
He had money sewn into his pocket.
So what year did WNY start?
Was it 1970? It was the start of the 70s.
Early 70s.
Early 70s.
Okay, I'm going to write it down.
Okay, write that down. Are you going to write down the homeless guy?
Yep.
Homeless man at Charlie Brown Park and the Wandering Wills.
What was the Wandering Wills?
Well, she said it was a bicycle troupe that came through Flora, and they were trekking across the United States. Chances are they were doing Route 50. They were probably the Wandering Wills. Yeah.
I like it.
I like it too. Huh.
Okay.
Wandering Wills.
Thought I had a list already started, but
well, we always have stuff going on.
Where did I stick it? So,
who knows? But yeah.
Well, those were good stories.
Couple interesting stories for today, and
yes.
Yeah, I didn't know. It's like I said, we always find things that we don't know is going on. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think I would want to cover that. And really, would you think in Flora you're starting your first job at the news station, and it's a train wreck?
No, I mean, if I was going into that
crazy.
job, I would expect to cover city council meetings, school board meetings, and probably not much else. The police report, maybe the hospital, ins and outs of the hospitals. That back then that was news. I mean, I don't think I would have thought I would be covering a train wreck.
Not a train wreck. An Amtrak, city of the New Orleans, city of New Orleans track.
Wow.
Crashing right there in Salem. And I was alive when all this happened. I don't ever remember anybody talking about it. I mean, have you ever heard that story?
No.
Because we covered a train wreck, but that had military men, right?
Yeah, and that was over, by Clay City?
That was that way. So we've had that.
Yeah. Well, very interesting.
Yeah.
As always, Rena always had the best stories.
She did. I love Rita. She's a great writer. I like telling our viewers about her stories.
Yes.
Like I said, we just can't.
Gotta keep this stuff alive.
This Hometown Journal paper, I'd give
anything if it was still around.
I'd give anything if it was still. That's what you should have kept the journal.
It's a lot of work and very little money.
Oh, well, yeah, you're not getting rich off the Hometown Journal.
Yeah, no. Probably not the job for me.
No, not the job. And then that Tony guy, how interesting. And it'd be interesting to do a little bit more background check on him. To see if, what business that they did. It had to have been the Derlins.
Yeah, I think there was probably some connection there for sure.
Did you see that old, somebody put, you are from Flora. I love that page, too. It's a great page.
She's talking about the Facebook page.
The
You
Facebook
are from
page,
Flora, Illinois.
yeah.
If you're interested in local history, they discuss some things on there.
And then somebody posted like an old aerial, and it had the downtown blocks, but it's so tiny, I can't read anything, and it's kind of blurry. And I need to get a magnifying glass.
Take a picture of it on your phone and then zoom in.
I tried.
Oh.
I still couldn't read it. Yeah, but did you see that one? It was kind of a neat, and he was talking about when the Orpheum Theater came in. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of a neat thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we always end the show with something funny. We've been recently going through this book, Here's Your Sign by Bill Engvall. Here's your sign, you're stupid. She's been cracking us up. We used to do, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. Before that, we did, words of wisdom and things to live by. And this time, I'm really enjoying this.
I'm liking this one.
Yeah, Here's Your Sign book.
You Might Be a Redneck. I have that one too.
Okay.
But yeah. So this is from Here's Your Sign. I have to read ahead to make sure it's not
naughty.
I was sitting in the living room watching the news the other day when my friend came in the front door and asked, "Are you watching TV?" "Nope," I said. "I'm watching the wall and the TV is in the way."
I like it.
Last weekend, I took my son camping, and we had all the latest camping gear with us. We were unpacking our stuff when the park ranger walked up and said, "Are you going camping?" I said, "Nope, I'm trying to open my own outdoor shop." Outdoor shop.
Oh, my.
Oh, shoot. I'm going to read one more because we got a little bit of time. One night, I was taking my dog for a walk around the block when my neighbor hollered at me, "Are you walking your dog?" I said, "No. I was walking the leash and the dog ran through it."
Oh, man. I'm surprised he didn't get punched in the nose sometimes if he really said these.
If he really said that?
Yeah, I don't know if he did or not.
I don't know if he did that either, but yeah,
gosh.
They're funny. So, Beth, tell everybody where they can find us.
So, as always, you can find us on Wabash Catch TV, Channel 100, daily, Monday through Friday. From our show airs at 11 and then again at 3. And our new episodes air on Thursdays and Fridays. And you can also watch our show on YouTube. So
that's right.
All of the past episodes are there. If you missed one, you want to go back and look for it. They are labeled. You just type in Beth and Stacey when you get to YouTube. Click on our picture. It'll take you to our page. And all of our videos are there either under the tab that says videos or some are under the tab that say live. So they're all there. You can watch us. You can also like and follow us on Facebook.
We're over 200, aren't we?
Yeah, over 200 episodes.
Yeah,
so.
we never celebrated.
No, but we are going to. We're going to surprise them with a surprise celebration at some point.
Are we going?
We are.
It'll be a surprise to me, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be a surprise to all of us. We need to plan it.
But, the only reason why I want it is so your mom, Debbie DeVore, will make cake.
Yeah, well, we'll have her do that.
Well, yeah.
She'll be happy to, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
she's quite the baker.
She is quite the baker.
Wow.
So anyway, that is it for today. We thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
God bless you and have a great day.